What's up, YouTube? Now you see the title of this video, and you see the picture on the screen. Man. Before we even, get into the main topic of this video, because I guess you see the title. Um, Before we even get into the buffoonery that once again is taking place in this so-called black sector of YouTube where you savages congregate. I first want to I first want to just say cuz my very last video I did um it's been, I guess, quite some time, and I'm always doing stuff whatever outside of YouTube. I don't know, maybe sooner or later I'll actually get on starting to try to make a YouTube channel. It's just, hey, I'm doing so many other things in my life or whatnot. So I mean, every now and then I come and make a video because I'm, of course, I'm still watching uh videos in the black sector YouTube every now and then, watching certain content creators that I watch. So I'm still, of course, you know looking at all the stuff that's going on, which is, of course, how I know this with this topic today, where we're going to address how I know about this. So I'm still, I'm in the clouds watching certain content creators, of course, and content creators that I enjoy to watch. Uh, and I found out about this whole thing, this whole, I guess you would say, dust up with this, with this Brad calling into a YouTuber, and I didn't even know who this guy was until this incident occurred. Actually, I think I may have heard of him prior, some time back, but I forgot about him. So, but I kind of remember the name. This whole thing with Miles Cunningham, and this Brad called in talking his ish. The only reason I found out about this is because of Jessica X. If any of y'all know who she is. No, I only found out about it because of Jessica X. I was scrolling through my suggestions and I saw Jessica X was live, and she hasn't, really been active recently on YouTube. So I was like, oh, Jessica X is live. Oh well. I'm like, hey, haven't seen her in a while. She has, she whatever she been doing in her life, but she did a live stream, and it was about this whole incident with Miles Cunningham, and this white dude calling in to spew his racist rhetoric. So I want to, just say, hey, if it wasn't for Jessica X, I wouldn't have known about this because I really didn't see anybody else talking about it from, or from all the content creators I watched. None of them talked about it. So, it was because of Jessica X that I found out about this whole thing. And, you know, so I was looking at it. I saw, Jessica X is live. So I saw what it was, and I was looking at the title, reading it. Some white dude calls in, or some in the title like, oh, he exposes, you know, whatever it is, black man Miles Cunningham or whatever, and you know, basically Jessica X was playing the clip, breaking it down, the foolishness that was going on in the clip. She basically broke it down and how stupid it was, and as I'm listening to what's happening, for some of y'all who may not have seen the video, y'all probably need to go see it. Where you had this white dude who called in on Miles Cunningham, which I guess he's like some dating. He's not a dating coach. I don't know what the guy is. I don't know, but hey, he's one of those guys who talk about relationships or whatnot. So that's what I'm just gonna say. He's one of them relationship topic type of guys. So Miles Cunningham, I guess he was having a call-in show, and some white dude called in, and from right out the rip, right out the gate, the white dude was coming off as condescending. He was hurling insults right out the gate. He was lying on Miles Cunningham. He was assuming things about Miles Cunningham. He was putting Miles Cunningham in a box in which he didn't even know. Like, he was talking about, oh, you know, you men, you need to, if you want a wife, you need to get a job and all this. And oh, you talking about women and getting good women, and you're not good men. And I'm like, well, you don't know Miles Cunningham. You don't know who this guy is. You don't know if he's a good man or not. You don't know, if he even has a job or not. You're assuming things about him. So, I'm listening to it and I'm seeing how this white dude is this racist white dude. I'm gonna explain further on the video how he's racist. Um, I'm gonna address a lot of stuff, and I also have some I need to read because what you have to understand is, for any of y'all who've seen the video, there's a there's a there's a there's a psychological issue we have here with this white dude that we're dealing with that called in there. It's much more complex than y'all understand. See, this is something that I'm gonna save that till I get into it. But just know that this is psychological, a psychological study that I'm looking at here when it comes to this dude. Almost, I mean, the things he was saying and the overall hatred. I'm gonna get into it. So Miles Cunningham, the guy called in. Miles Cunningham was listening to the dude. He was, making these assumptions about him, talking about, oh, if you want a wife, get a job, and all this, talking reckless on him, assuming things about Miles Cunningham that he did not know. He was, he then, sooner or later he dropped the N word, called him a nigger, um, told him he needed to kill himself. You know, he was just hurling racial slurs, nigger this, nigger that. Oh, you niggers this, you niggers that. Um, he was spewing all types of hatred, all types of racism, and sooner or later in the video, it got to the point to where he started to really, really show his true colors, and he started to, basically refer to black people as beasts of the field, and he wanted to reference the Bible, taking scriptures of the Bible out of context. I mean, I don't expect him to be all that smart. Racist white men normally aren't all that bright. So, he's, talking about black people are beasts of the field and all this other goofy shit. And he, basically was saying, he's showing his racist colors, said that, you he was basically saying, oh, these black men, they don't lead in their community, they're not being fathers in the home and all this. And Miles Cunningham was just like, well, I mean, because the white dude was like, why aren't these black men being in their kids' lives and all this and whoop de whoop. And Miles Cunningham was like, well, maybe you just say we're weak, like you said, we're weak, man. And then he's like, well, no, you're not, you're weak, you're just beasts. And then that's when he got into the whole beast thing. He proceeded to call black people beasts, and he basically then, sooner or later, basically said that black people were genetically inferior. So, and the reason that I kind of just did that whole thing where explaining all the stuff he said was because as I'm listening to all this, I found it funny because I'm watching Jessica X's live stream on it, and I'm listening to the stuff the white dude is saying and all his hatred. You just got to go see the video for yourself if you have not seen it. Um, and I'm listening to the stuff he's spewing, and what really stuck out to me more than anything is when Jessica X went into the comment sections of the video, and you had all these black women in there agreeing with this white dude. Now, this white dude just said that black people were genetically inferior. They were inferior. They are an inferior race. He even sat up there and said, your race is trash. And black women are in the comment sections agreeing with this white dude because they believe that he's not talking about them too. Even though he said that black people were genetically inferior, so he would be talking about black women too. But, you know, so-called divested black women, so-called divested black women, they're not all that bright. They're just dumb. So they don't understand, they apparently I mean, they're just dumb. So he sat up there and said black people were genetically inferior, and black women agreed. And this goes into the self-hatred of the black woman. And just furthermore, it proves the point when people say this. Because if you're agreeing with a racist white man saying that black people are genetically inferior, then you are agreeing that you are less than, which we know these women they already think they're less than, so of course they would agree with that. So they're agreeing with this white dude talking about, oh, he checked this black man, not knowing that he was talking about your black ass too. But because they're not smart, because they lack intelligence, they just gloss over that. And there were, the comments, talking about, oh, he got checked, oh, he didn't do it, he didn't say anything. Miles Cunningham just sat there and let that white dude drag him and all this. And I'm like, if any, this just shows how dumb you niggas are. Miles Cunningham was allowing that white dude to say the stuff he was saying because Miles Cunningham wanted him to just let all of his hatred out so he could just let everybody hear it. That's why he was being calm and collected, just letting the white dude say what he wanted to say. He wasn't gonna get all belligerent and all this other stuff. He wanted to let him spew his hatred. That's the way he handled it. Other people might handle it differently. If it was me, I would have probably went in some, but I still would have kind of let him speak because I want to just let the fool get his hatred out so we can hear this this sorry excuse for a man spew his hatred, his stereotyping and all this other bullshit. So basically, what I found to be, very disturbing mostly was, the fact that you had um the fact that he even thought that it was a good idea for him to even call in and do that. Because what you have to understand is the thing that confuses me, and I'm gonna delve into more as to what's really going on with white dudes like him. Because I was listening to certain commentaries by certain people, because I saw Jessica X and then I heard other people talked about it. So I wanted to hear what other people were saying about it. I went to go listen to some other content creators, uh, just reading comments about it and whatnot, just seeing whoever would talked about it. I wanted to see who talked about it. And, you know, one thing I didn't really hear when I heard people talk about it is, you know, the mindset of this musty white male here. And I coined the term the musty white male. He definitely fits the criteria of the musty white male. Because what we're dealing with here is, and I didn't hear anyone really address this really, that for you to be, because in the beginning of his, you know, in the beginning when the video first started and the white dude first called in, he was saying how he has a family and all this, and his wife, she stays at home and she is not allowed to vote. I don't know why he decided to say that. So he doesn't let his woman vote. So he thinks she's too dumb to make that decision. So it shows how he thinks of her. Um, he contradicted himself many times because the white dude was trying to sit up there and say Miles Cunningham was trying to get a woman to worship him just because he said he wants a woman to prioritize her time with him, basically value her time. I wouldn't say value her time, but basically take the time with him serious. And that white dude deciphered in his fucked up brain that meant he wanted a woman to worship him. Like I said, racist white men aren't always that bright, so I can't expect them to comprehend information properly. He's not Racist white men are dumb, so I don't expect them to even. I expect him to think some stupid shit like that. But really, when you really sit back and you really analyze it, the white dude was trying to start something from the beginning. He wanted an argument. That was his whole goal. But he's still dumb, of course. I mean, like I said, racist white men are stupid. But so So, when he first called in, like I said, he was saying how, uh, he doesn't, he was saying he has a family. He has a wife, he has a wife, he has a family. He, rules his household with a strong hand, and that, he doesn't let his wife vote. So, and then, but what was strange is, like I said, when he said Miles Cunningham was trying to get a woman to worship him, was he was basically trying to also insinuate that Miles Cunningham was trying to, oppress a woman or like rule over her. But he said literally before that, just before that, that you know he rules his house with a strong hand. He doesn't let his woman vote. So he's kind of oppressing his woman. If you're not letting your woman vote, that means you're putting restrictions on her, and she's not allowed to vote. And you're basically saying, no, you cannot vote. and he's not allowing her to make that decision. That means he's prohibiting her from exercising her free will. But then he wanted to criticize Miles Cunningham for something he wasn't even doing. So it goes to show you he was trying to start something from the beginning. He wanted to get a reaction out of him from the beginning. He wanted to try to get Miles Cunningham riled up and all that. And it's a good thing Miles Cunningham didn't fall for the bait. Um, but like I said, what's disturbing to me is that this white dude claimed he had a family. He has a family he has to provide for. He's all of these things. He's so great. But yet you find yourself on a black man's channel that is, Jessica X said there was like a pickup channel or something. He's not really that type of guy who prioritizes marriage and family. He's just one of those guys that he want to mess around with women. I mean, that's what he wants to do. There are guys out there that prioritize family, but everybody doesn't do that. And that white dude went on Miles Cunningham's channel and tried to criticize him about not prioritizing marriage and a family when that's not what he does. I mean, that's the equivalent of me going into a strip club and complaining about them not prioritizing family values and not prioritizing the family structure and the nuclear family. Like it's a strip club. You can't go into a establishment that doesn't do what you want it to do, so you get mad and start saying what they need to do. I can't go into a pizza diner and pizza restaurant and be like, oh, y'all don't serve burgers. Well, no, they don't. It's a restaurant that serves only pizza. I mean, it doesn't make any sense what that white dude did. And that's why you notice that all he was doing was trying to get a reaction and to try to start an argument like a female. Eh, the dude literally is effeminate. He's trying to start an argument like a woman, just starting something out of for no reason. Like a bitter, angry woman just trying to start an argument. So he's really, I mean, and I was like I said with the comments, you had black women agreeing with him, so-called divested black women agreeing, and not knowing he's talking about them too, because he said black people were genetically inferior. But they're dumb, so they don't understand that. But you know, you had women saying that oh, this is a bad look for Miles Cunningham, and oh, he looks bad and all this, and oh, this is a bad look, and oh, these black men, this is their reckoning is here, and I'm like, you niggas are childish. I mean, you apes. Let me stop. Let me stop. But you niggas, you sitting up here talking about all this stupid shit, but who really looks bad in that situation was the white dude. He looked down tremendous. Because for you to be sitting up there calling into a show that doesn't do what you want it to do, so you get mad, instead of going to a show that does prioritize family, you want to go to a show that does not focus on family, and the dude even said, I don't focus on marriage. But you still want to criticize him and call him all these names because all that was about was that white dude spewing his racism. That's all he wanted to do. He had to vent, you know. And dudes like him, what you have to understand with racist white dudes like him is that they're suffering from immense low self-esteem. And dudes like him have to try to make himself feel better and try to make himself feel better than someone else. So what he does is he, goes and finds, I'm sure he scours all over YouTube because he had to have seeked that, he had to have went out of his way to find Miles Cunningham's channel. Like he didn't just fall across that, he didn't just fall upon that. So he's one of these weirdos that probably stock black people's content, black people's channels, particularly probably black men, stalking them. And he decided, why not call into Miles Cunningham's channel, this guy, and let me spew my racism. See, he's one of these dudes that has to try to make someone else feel low about themselves to make himself feel better because he feels inferior on the inside. He feels less than on the inside, so he has to try to make someone else feel less than with him because misery loves company. But what you fail to realize, Mr. White Man, I highly doubt he'll see this video, but what you fail to realize is you're not all that bright. And you can't make somebody feel bad when they are onto your shit, like I am, and probably many others are as well. You are a pathetic man. You are a weak man. You are a sorry excuse for a man. You are a clown. And what you did only showed how low you are inside and how you are a raging savage. See, you wanted to sit up and talk about some beasts of the field. No one is more of a beast than you. You sat up there. Another thing he said was, he's a part of these white power groups and all this. No one's more of a beast than a man who subscribes himself to, or aligns himself to, groups that are hateful in nature and that are, basically groups that prioritize hatred against other groups and the destruction and chaos of other groups. See, all you men like you know how to do is destroy. While you sit up and try to talk about these black men and black people, beasts of the field, sir, no one is more of a beast than you. No one engages in more debauchery and savagery than men like you. No one seeks out more death and destruction than men like you. You are a sorry, weak man with low self esteem, and the only way to make yourself feel better is you have to try to make other people feel less than you. And that's a very down slope because you are very insecure of a man. But look here, you are a destructive man. You are the beast, sir. You are weak, sir. You are a coward, sir. You're online like a keyboard warrior talking reckless to men online, but you know, we know men like you, in real life, y'all bitches. We understand this. So you talk big and bad on the internet, but you're weak. You're a coward. You're trying to talk tough on the internet. This is what you're doing. Like this, it's just sad, man. You look bad, but he looks bad, man. He looks bad. he just looks bad. It's funny because I watched another content creator, one of these female content creators, that reacted to, that dude, that whole debacle. And I'm not even gonna say her name, but some of y'all may know who I'm talking about when I say this. One of her nicknames given to her by a YouTuber by the name of Red Supreme TV1. He calls her RuPaul. RuPaul. He calls her he calls her the queen of drag. Some of y'all may know. And the drag queen herself, RuPaul in a wig, she made a reaction to it. I saw her video on it, and I saw other people's videos, but I want to highlight her video because it was funny because she played the video, but she cut out the part where he started talking about black people are beasts of the field and are genetically inferior. So I love how she cut that part out, but left all the stuff before that. So she doesn't want to, because that particular YouTube content creator, she always likes to talk about black men not building this and that, but the white dude was like, well, it's not your fault. Y'all just genetically inferior. So if you're gonna agree with what that white man is saying, RuPaul with a wig, then don't you agree with him saying black people are genetically inferior? So how can you sit up here and criticize black men for not building when the white man that you're agreeing with says that, hey, black people are inferior? So, they're just incapable of building. So from now on, RuPaul with a wig, you can no longer criticize black men for not building because you agree with a white man who said black people are inferior. So hey, they just can't build; they're inferior. But we know she's not gonna address that because she's dumb. RuPaul with a wig, she's down terrible. She's miserable. And hey, it is what it is. But besides all that, I just had to say that. Besides all that, I find it funny how you had all these goofy so-called divested women agreeing with him, and he's talking about them too. And it's very strange the behavior that white man was engaging in. The real beast of the field is him. The real savage is him. And I don't want this video to be too long. I'm gonna finish up. I have some, like I said, that I want to read as well, because this details the white man that called him. You have to understand that it's his mindset is very, very, very messed up. His psychology is fucked. His way of thinking is messed up. And what I'm about to read is going to be a kind of like an explanation to a degree of his hatred, because his hatred that he has, it's a deep rooted hatred, and it's a the hatred that he has is a serious hatred, and it's a hatred that is it is a hatred it is a hatred that is, you know, very ancient to a degree. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna get into it. So, like I said, I have something to read. I'm gonna read this off, and it's pretty much just gonna, detail all the dumb shit that we're dealing with an individual like him. Now, I'm not gonna really get into too much context about, and I'm not gonna get into too much context um, about what I'm reading right now concerning all of this. If you want me to make a separate video on what I'm about to address, I could to explain it more. But what I'm about to read, because the white dude referenced the Bible, so I'm actually gonna read some out the Bible, because I just want to show, just want to read this, and then after I read this, I'm gonna explain why I have this picture on the screen. It's not up there for what you think, but I'm a read off a book in the Bible called the Book of Obadiah, and in it, it is basically talking about Edom, which, and I'm not gonna really get into all that in this video, but Edom or Esau is the so-called white man of today. I'm not really gonna get into all that right now. Just know that Edom is the white man, okay? The quote unquote white man. I want just letting y'all know. So every time, I'm reading off Edom, know that that is in reference to the so-called white man. Just want y'all to know that, because what we're gonna read is going to be, it is going to, it is going to, it is going to detail, everything that uh, was going on with that white dude and his racism and hatred. We're just gonna just detail all that right now. So I'm just gonna read it. I'm gonna read the whole, just a very short book of the Bible, one chapter. I'm just gonna read it. Okay, so verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Wait, hold up. Okay, verse 1, the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. So, anyone who knows, they would know that, white people are, in population size, the smallest group of people on the planet. Uh, and it says after that, thou art greatly despised. Very, very much despised. I mean, a white dude like this is very much despised. Now, of course, I was talking about the divestors agreeing with him. I mean, those are a bunch of savages, self-hating black women, so we can't use them as an example. Of course, they worship the ground any white man walks on. I'm talking about a motherfucker who possesses a brain, um, and they greatly despise people like this. They greatly despise the evil and the wickedness and the hatred that, this white dude, or in reference, as I'm reading, Edom, that he possesses. He's his wickedness. He's wicked beyond comprehension. This is much deeper than just this white dude calling in. This is much deeper. When I'm talking about the Bible, but they despise him. His wickedness, his evil, his destruction and chaos he has caused. And that white dude exhibits that same type of behavior, just evil. Oh, I'm a part of a white power group. He's a beast. He is a beast, the beast of the field. So thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee. You can tell that white dude is very prideful. I'm a white man. What's wrong with me being white? We done all this and that. He's great. He's greatly prideful. But it has deceived him, because he believes he's so great, but he's not. He's delusional. He's lost, man. The pride of his heart has deceived him. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. We know white people, Caucasus Mountains, whose habitation is high. They like to build skyscrapers, believe they're high. That saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Another indication of his pride. He believes he's so great. Who will bring me down? I'm just so great. This is the narcissistic mindset of the musty white male. Thou that exaltest thyself as the eagle, and America, the eagle, and many other European countries that use the eagle as their emblem. So thou that, oh my goodness, though, my God, what is it? I'm sorry. I'm trying to freaking keep this up. Okay. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Now we know, set thy nest amongst the stars, I guess, very, very much in reference to space. Yeah, very much in reference to space. So let me just read that again. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So yeah, basically in reference to space and NASA or whatnot, or just space in general. Set a nest amongst the stars. Next, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Basically, this is referencing the insatiable, uh, you know, evil and just stealing everything in sight that so-called Edom has. This white men like that white dude that called into Miles Cunningham, his type men with his type of mentality, just the savagery, the beasts of the field like behavior of stealing everything and being a savage. And it says, would they not leave some grapes? Like, would you not leave something? Would you not leave some grapes? Like, you're not even gonna leave anything. You're just gonna steal everything. Just steal everything. Would they not leave some grapes? Would they not leave something? Would they not leave some? So yeah. Would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? And that basically goes into the mindset of that white dude that called into Miles Cunningham. Like, how are the things? How can you search? How can you understand his mind? Like, I'm sitting back and I was trying to, think about what makes a man do what he did. And it's like, you can't understand, like, it's hard to even do a psychological analysis, because it's like, how can you understand his mind? How can you comprehend what he was doing? How can you even understand it? How can you search it out? He's fucked up. So yeah, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. It's basically talking about all that have aligned with him will betray him. That's deeper than y'all understand right now. I'm not even gonna get into that. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Now, this is deep. Now, Jacob referring to the 12 tribes of Israel, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. And I'm not going to get into all this right now, but so-called Israelites of the Bible were black. The true, so-called JEWSs. I'm not even going to say the word. The so-called, the Israelites of the Bible were black. The real people of the Bible. So it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. So men like him, his hatred, you could hear in his voice the hatred he has for the black man, the hatred for black people in general. But specifically, we're going to talk about the black man, because he was talking to a black man. The hatred for his brother Jacob, the hatred for the black man, because Esau and Jacob were brothers. I'm not going to get into all that right now, but that his hatred for his brother, his violence against his brother Jacob, his evil. So yeah, his hatred, his evil, his violence against his brother Jacob. His violence against his brother Jacob. So yeah, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. You know, Edom has spoken, the so-called white man Edom has spoken proudly in the destruction, you know, ever since black people have failed to the position. I'm not going to get into all the history in this video, but ever since black people have fallen to the degree we've fallen in, he is Edom, men like him, Edom, they have boasted proudly because, hey, they like, finally, it's our time. We've been down, terrible, downtrodden. They like to make you believe they've always been in positions of power. No, finally you get a position of power. You ain't never had no power. You talking your ish. So this is what Edom has done. Um. So yeah. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is upon all of the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. They shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain of the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, in the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. In the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up on the Mount Zion to judge them. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. And that's all the book of Obadiah. So what I read there was, basically what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with a musty white male whose mindset is hard to understand. His thinking process is very. How can you understand it? The one scripture that should stand out to you really explains that white dude that called in is, how are the things of Esau searched out? The one scripture you should look at mostly is, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? It's very difficult to try to understand the mind of an individual like him. Very, very difficult. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video because I've been going on too long. I've been reading all that. I'm going to explain the picture on the screen. You might be wondering, why do I have Leonardo DiCaprio with this face laughing, and basically this picture on the screen symbolizes the face that, this is the face that people should really be having when they are listening to, that whole thing with the Miles Cunningham situation and that white dude calling in and talking his racism. This is the face you should have. You should literally be laughing like this, because he made himself look bad. That white dude made himself look very, very bad. And that's the face that I have when I'm looking at the situation. I'm just laughing at him because he's a clown. But that's all I gotta say. I'm about to end this video. I'm about to end this video. That's pretty much all I got to say on the situation. This video kind of went on longer than I expected, but I'm gonna go and end it now, and I'm gonna upload it. But that's all I gotta say. I'm out.